Hey everybody, it's Denise from All About the Oscars. How are you today? So if you would have asked me at any point when I was planning on launching this Oscar-focused channel, if I would ever be talking about a troll movie, I could pretty much tell you that that was going to be an impossibility. But here I am, getting ready to talk to you about the recently released Trolls video. So if you didn't catch it in the news, this is what happened this week. On Tuesday, there was a big fight between AMC, which is the #1 movie theater in the United States, and Universal Pictures, because Universal Pictures decided to release their Troll movie directly to streaming, bypassing the theaters. And the reason that Universal Pictures decided to do this is because in the middle of coronavirus, everyone is stuck at home and the theaters are closed. Now, I did read a couple of different articles, so I'm not exactly sure what upset the CEO of AMC Theaters, who ultimately was like, this is a big and a real deal. I'm not going to recant this a couple of weeks or years from now. I'm not going to show Universal Pictures moving forward at all. Now, Universal Picture is a huge movie production company. Warner Brothers is #1, Sony is #2, and Walt Disney is #3. Universal is the 4th largest movie production company. So to tell them that you're not going to show any of their films in the future in your theaters is a big deal. So I found this super interesting because when all of the theaters were forced to close back in, I guess it was the end of March, early April, I read several stories that AMC was struggling financially and that they could not afford to stay closed for as long as some people were predicting. So for AMC to say, hey, this coronavirus with all of our theaters being closed situation is detrimental to our business, I would think that telling Universal Pictures that I'm not going to show your films in the future would also maybe not be the best decision, but what do I know? So anyway, Universal Pictures did take Trolls directly to streaming. They've already made millions of dollars in rental fees. The reason I'm bringing this up is because also this week, the Academy announced that they would forego the ruling that a movie has to be seen in a theater before it is released in other platforms for this year only. And again, that's also because of coronavirus. And the Academy said that they are going to make whatever changes need to be made. They're going to be flexible and be adaptable because no one knows how long coronavirus is going to affect the movie industry. We don't know how long the theaters are going to be closed. And them making this change was just their first step in saying, hey, we're going to be adaptable and we're going to make sure that any changes that need to be made are going to be made. Now, this made me start to think about the movie Roma. So Roma was made by Netflix. I know that Roma was in the movie theater for a very short period of time in November before Netflix released it on their own platform in December. And typically the theatrical window and the rule that the Academy has always followed is that the film has to be in theaters for at least 7 days. And I believe that the rule is actually that it has to be, to qualify, it has to be in an LA theater for at least 7 days with multiple showings, all 7 days, including in the evening. It can't just be a movie that shows once or twice during the day. And then there's also a 90-day window from the time it comes into the theater until it's released on other platforms. So the Academy essentially is saying, hey, we know that this is a really strange year and we're going to forego that rule. But last year they awarded Roma with numerous nominations. I don't think that they were following those rules. So I'm going to have to go back and do some digging on that because it's something I just thought about as I was sitting down to tape this video about what the heck our future of going to the movies is going to look like. Now, I absolutely love going to the movie theater. I don't always get to see every single Oscar-nominated film, which if you didn't see an earlier video, I watch every single film every single year, every category, every film. So I like to go catch as many as I can in the movie theater, but one, it's an issue of time and it's an issue of money. It does get pretty gosh darn expensive. And I do like watching movies at home, and I love watching movies on Netflix and Hulu and all those other streaming services that we have available to us. But there are some movies that are worth seeing in the movie theater, and they're not as enjoyable as they are at home. I'm going to put out a future video because I want to talk about some of those films, and then I want to find out what films were really impactful to you as you were growing up. But I can't imagine seeing Star Wars for the first time as a child on a video that was back in the day when we'd go to the corner video store and pick the movie off the shelf and take it home for a couple days and then have to return it. That's how we watched movies when I was a kid. But seeing it in the movie theater was super, super impactful. Another movie that made a huge impact on me was Rwanda. And at the end of that movie, and the theater was absolutely packed. Not one person moved. Not one person said anything. It was absolutely silent, and everyone sat there in their seats for what seemed like forever, but I'm sure it was probably just a very quiet, uncomfortable couple of minutes before people started to get up and leave. And at that point, I still don't remember people talking until they got outside. So that was another movie that made a big impact on me that I just felt was more impactful, not because of the movie itself, but in being with the people. And then another movie, which is actually what started me on my Oscar obsession, was The Artist. And it was a black and white silent film. And seeing that in the movie theater was something that was super impactful to me. And I've seen it several times after at home, and it just isn't the same. So I do know that a lot of people had problems with including these movies that were made on Netflix or made by Hulu or maybe a film that was made for TV. That's not really a film. It's not really a theater film. And if you're an artsy movie lover or a critic, there's a big difference in those two categories. And when you're talking about eliminating the big screen, either because it's no longer a qualification and a film can go directly from Netflix or Amazon to streaming and bypass the theater, is that considered a film? Because it's actually just then a TV movie. So it'll be interesting to see. So I'm curious to see what that's going to look like in terms of rules changing permanently in the future, what watching movies for us will be like, and what the future of movies at the theater actually will be once the movie theaters are open. So there were a lot of films, of course, that were scheduled to come out this summer. Some of them have been delayed. Fast and Furious is one example. A Quiet Place 2 was also scheduled to come out this summer, and it has been delayed. But then there are a lot of films that were not necessarily a movie that would be Oscar worthy, is what I like to call them. The movies that come out in the summer, not always, but usually are more about fun, explosions, family, kids are out of school. It's, epic films about aliens, end of the world, those types of films that are fun, summer blockbusters, essentially, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And those typically aren't nominated and expecting to get theater or I should say Academy praise or nominations. Those films typically come out in the fall or very early in the winter. That way nominations can occur as we're rolling into January. And then this year, I can tell you that the Academies are scheduled for February 28th. And I don't think that that date will change unless something drastic happens in the next couple of months. But again, the Academy said it is going to be fluid and make any adjustments that are necessary. And I do want to give the Academy a shout out. They donated $6 million to motion picture employees and their families because they are not working. Now, that doesn't mean they gave $6 million to Brad Pitt. They're talking about the sound techs and cameramen and the other members of the Academy that don't have those high earning dollars that the stars have. So that's where the money went. And I'm glad that they did that for them. So anyway, just wanted to sit down and kind of talk to you a little bit about what the future movies will be like. It's Saturday. It's a beautiful day. If it was a normal time, I probably would say, hey, you want to go out for dinner, grab some drinks, and hit the movie theater later? And of course, I can't say that. So if you're watching this video, leave a comment below. Let me know if you still like to go to the movie theater. Let me know if you would rather stay at home and watch movies there. And if you do go to the movies, also let me know how often you go. Let me know what you think about the movie prices. Do you think it's grown too expensive? And yeah, I guess that's about it. So it was great to chat with you today, and I am going to put out another video next week, which is going to talk about another Academy rule change. They took two categories and combined them into one category. So there were two sound-focused categories. One is sound mixing, the other one is sound editing, and they are combining those together to one category, which is called Best Achievement in Sound. So I'll talk to you a little bit about why they decided to do that. And I hope that you guys have a great day, and I will talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.